Hello, welcome to Intro Programming and Problem Solving. As always, I'm Bart Massey, and as always, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this very difficult time. Today, I want to do one of those exercises that's sort of a standard exercise when learning to program. There's quite a few of those. We'll do a few of them in class. We'll do a few of them in these pre-recorded lectures. And these exercises are all about sort of getting some basic understanding of how the various moving pieces work together. I'm going to work today with a text editor that I'm comfortable with rather than with the Mu environment, just because I want to make things go a little smoother and faster for myself, but I think it won't make too much difference. So let's just go ahead and dive into what I think it's a pretty interesting topic here. So we're going to play Guess the Number today, and the idea of this game is exactly what it sounds like. It's a really simple old as the hills game where the computer picks a number and you try to guess it. And of course, that would be a really dumb game if we didn't give you some kind of hints. So we're going to have the computer tell you whether you need to go higher, go lower, or you're correct, right? And when you're correct, the game's over. So you play until you guess the number correctly, but we'll give you up and down. I mean, yeah, it's a really simple game. Yeah, it's not that fun to play, but we got to start somewhere. We'll build more fun games as we go along. So let's start the program. So I'm just going to start a program here, Python program. I'm going to call it guess.py. And I'm going to say guess the number game, Bart Massey. I always start with this kind of stuff so that I know what this thing is that I'm writing, so that it's clear to everybody what's going on. And I know I'm going to need some random numbers here. So like I talked about previously, I'm going to get the random stuff in here somewhere. And now I'm started. Now I've got my program sort of all going. And we'll pick a number between 1 and 10, I guess. In fact, let's make that something we can change really easily. Let's give that number a name. We'll say range equals 10. Oh, range is a bad name for reasons. Max number equals 10. There we go. Or choice range equals 10. Picking good variable names is super important. And we'll call it secret range because we're going to call this thing secret. And secret here is going to be rand range, secret range plus 1. Why the plus 1? Because computers start from 0. Rand range 10 will return a number that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Which is super annoying. So we add 1 to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. So now we've got our secret, which is great. And our program started. Now, one of the things you might choose to do at this point as you get started, in fact, I would highly recommend it, is that you might choose to try this out. Let's see what we've got so far. Does this crash? Does Python complain about it? Does it run it? Nope, it looks like it runs just fine. We don't know what it does. Let's actually do a little debugging code that we'll get rid of. Let's actually print and see what the secret is that we got. Hey, that time it picked 3 as its secret. That time it picked 2 as its secret. So it seems to be picking a range, picking a number, a secret really well. That's great. So what's the next thing we want to do? Well, probably ask the user for a guess and report on whether the guess is high, low, or correct. And we'll use if, else, elif to correct the user's guess. Sorry, didn't mean to be clicking around there. And so we already know how to use input. Notice I'm going to put a blank line here. I think it's really common in computer programming to sort of put blank lines between sort of paragraphs of code, chunks of code that might be thought of together. And I think we're starting a new one of those. Guess equals int input guess a number between, well, let's start with this. Guess, no, let's just do it this way. Number between 1 and remember before we talked about some of this stuff. Let's see, secret range. There we go. So this is part of why I wanted to have secret range as a separate thing, is now it'll take this string, guess a number between 1 and, make this number secret range into a string, and then it'll join them together, and so we'll get a prompt that's a reasonable thing. I guess we can keep going here with a question mark and a space, and there we go. Now we've got a thing that asks for a guess. Let's try it out again. Hey, look at that. Guess a number between 1 and 10. 7. Oh, okay. So far, so good. It all actually looks like it's working pretty well. Now, notice that I'm using a text editor. You can use Vue Editor and do the same thing. Write a piece of the program, see if it seems to be working right. I mean, it's hard to tell yet. So I'm going to use a trick that I borrowed from the Rust version of this program that's in the Rust manual, which is I'm going to print the secret here. And that's gonna so that'll help me check that the program's working correctly. We'll get rid of this later. In fact, we should put a comment reminding ourselves. Starting a comment with XXX usually means that it's something you want to pay attention to because something's wrong there. So we'll put that reminder in the code, and now what we want to do is report whether the user's number is higher, lower, or the same as the secret. I'm going to put a try in here just to make it really clear to the user what needs to happen. And if it's not equal and it's not greater, then it must be less. So there we go. Now it will actually give us some feedback on whether our guess is correct or not. So that's kind of cool. There again, always just keep trying it, making sure it still runs. Guess the number between 1 and 10. We know the secret's 3. So what happens if I guess 3? Hey, it says I'm right. Let's try it again. This time the secret number is 1, so I can't really guess less than that. I mean, I can guess 0. Nobody can stop me. Right now it accepts that, which is kind of an interesting situation. We might want to put some checking in for that, maybe. Yeah, so what if I go, this time the secret number is 10. What if I go 8? It'll say try higher. 10, it'll say try equal. What if I go 11? It'll say, oh, try lower. Okay, so it seems to be working the way I expected. I'm gonna say guess my number here and my secret number. We're gonna personify the computer because that way it'll be clear what's going on. Okay, that's great. We got our program almost done. There's only one thing left to do, which is that if I only get one guess, it's kind of boring. So I'm going to have to somehow make it keep doing this, right? So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to do that with the while loops or for loops that we learned earlier. Probably, in this case, a while loop's probably the right thing. And what I'm going to do is something we've done before. How long does this loop? Well, it loops until true is false. Well, true is never false. So this body, this block, will be run literally forever. By the way, this is a problem, this stuff going off to the right. This is just a defect of Python. It turns out that you can format things legally like this. And that's usually what you would do in this situation, just to keep things from wrapping off the right-hand edge of the terminal. So yeah, this block of code, all of these statements will be executed forever. Well, that doesn't seem all that useful, but it's at least a starting place. So let's play with that, and again, make sure that it does something sensible. We'll guess 3. Try higher. How about 7? Nope, it says try higher. How about 9? Oh, it's still telling me to try higher. Well, I guess it must be 10. Wait, I got it right. Why are you still asking me for things? That seems terrible. So let me stop the program, which with command line Python you can do by interrupting, usually with Control-C. And then, which Control-C means hold down the Control key and hit C. Okay, so when we get it right, the only problem we seem to have with our program is that when we get it right, well, then we should stop. Let's try some actual punctuation too. That seems like a thing a person could do. We'll put an ellipsis in here and everything. And this seems like a more fun game. Let's give this one a try. Okay, we will guess 5. Try higher. How about 8? Oh, it wants lower. How about 7? Try lower. Well, it's lower than 7 and higher than 5. I'm going to say 6. Yay, we win! Our Guess the Number game is complete. Now, there's still some obvious problems we could absolutely tackle here. So for example, if I say, we already noticed that if I say minus 12 or 500, it'll just be like, yeah, whatever. You know, sure, guess a number that's not possible. I don't really care. Let's actually try something else. What if I say hello or 10? Why did I spell out 10? Oh, it crashes. So we need some way to check that it's actually a number if we want to prevent that. For now, we won't talk about that, but later on in the course, we probably should talk a little bit about what you do to keep those kinds of invalid inputs from making your program fail. So the other thing is, you'll notice there's this little problem with our game right now, which is that it starts by printing the secret number, which probably wasn't what we wanted to actually do. So that, see this thing that says delete this when the program is working? Very, very easy to forget, but let's not forget. Now our game actually makes us guess, right? Oh, let's try 5. Higher, 7. Oh, got it in 2 guesses. I'm a very lucky person. 5, 7, 9. How about 10? Hey, I got it. So now we got to guess the number game. And you'll notice there is a sort of a strategy for guessing that makes it work better. Notice too that if we wanted to change this to be harder, you know, if we wanted it to be 20, look, all we have to do is just change that one thing, and now it'll be guess my number between 1 and 20, and I'll try 10, 5, 3, 2, 2. It was 2. So in 4 guesses I got there. That's pretty nice. So that's kind of neat. So here's our program. Seems to work pretty okay for the most part. Doesn't have any huge problems. I will make that program available to us later and think about that. Another way we could do this, by the way, instead of playing with exit here, is use what's called a loop control variable. We're going to have a variable called done that we set to false, and we'll say while not done, while we're not done, do this stuff, and then we'll say done equals true, and now that'll do the same thing as before, except that instead of having to do some silly exit, when done is true, this while loop will quit executing and it will fall off the end, and that's how it'll stop the program. Let's make sure that still works. 5, 3, 4, yay, and it works just fine still. So that's another way to control this loop. I actually like that a little better in some ways. It's a matter of taste. So I've linked in the notes the completed program where we're leaving it now. And then the other question, of course, is, well, what if we turn the game the other way around? What if instead of the computer picking a number and you trying to guess it, you pick a number and make the computer try to guess it? Like I say, it's kind of a challenge, but it's interesting to think about the strategy for how to make the computer guess the number quickly before the human gets bored. There is a trick to that. So there you go, a guess the number game, and a guess the number game thrown together reasonably quickly. The secret formula here is try things as you go, check things as you go along, try to test things to make sure they're working right, and you'll make progress. Thanks as always for listening. Always fun to talk to you, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Please do stay safe and well out there during this very difficult time. Take care.